Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's talk is on the best 10 tips for sleep to help your child sleep better at night, especially if you have a little child that is not sleeping, either not falling asleep or having difficulty staying asleep. Some of the suggestions I'm going to give you tonight will help with this topic. It was requested in the group by popular demand. So welcome everybody, and please, if you have any questions tonight, put them in the chat. I will be checking and monitoring the chat here on the side and answering them. And if you are watching this in replay, mark it with #replay and then ask your question. And we want to liven up the group a little bit and get your participation, because that's what helps me curate the topics. That's what helps me answer the queries that you are thinking about and wondering about, and I want to serve and help you get answers. So please share your questions so that we can dive in, okay? So let me go to our screen share and presentation mode. See my screen. As a functional medicine pediatrician or practitioner, I really can't stress enough the role of sleep in the lives of children, for their well-being, for really all their body functions, all the regeneration and the healing and the restoring that happens during sleep. It's such a vital function for people in general, but for children who are growing, it's extremely essential as well. So this is a very important topic and not one to skim over. I really want you to listen carefully, take notes, see how you can implement some of the tips I'm going to share with you. It's not a very long talk, but I'm bringing to the highlight important principles for you to start implementing in your family, even if you are not seeking a doctor's help in this matter. Okay, so first thing is to establish a consistent bedtime and some routines. You know, consistency is key because our bodies have a time clock, we have a circadian rhythm, and we become creatures of habit, really. If you've noticed that babies, when you disrupt their routine and you have a very different day than a normal routine day, they have a lot of trouble falling asleep that night, and they're whiny and they're crying and they're not happy. That's because we're wired that way. Our bodies are in sync with the daytime and the nighttime, the sun and the moon. And actually we're producing cortisol early in the morning to wake us up and get the day going. And then we produce melatonin when the sun goes down, like right now. That helps us get sleepy and get ready for a good night's rest. So a regular routine bedtime routine is very essential to help instill the habit, instill that programming, if you will, into your child's daily bodily functions. So it's really essential that we build that from the start, from when they're little. But take heart if your routine has been disrupted because you're a family that moves a lot, or you have a lot of different shift work, or what may happen, you know, sicknesses, whatever disrupts the routine. It's always a good idea to reset that routine and start over and just adapt and also abide by the new routine that you as parents are deciding is a good plan for your family. You want to create also a calm and relaxing atmosphere around bedtime. So that's a time to read a book, to take a warm bath, maybe do a puzzle, say prayers, you could do a massage, but it's not a time for a lot of activities or a lot of excitement. You want to limit screen time. You've heard this a lot. Blue light awakens the brain, awakens the pineal gland, and makes our brain create more cortisol. So we want to dim the lights. We want amber lighting. We want it table high, and we want to try to avoid screens during that last hour and a half of the evening before going to bed, because it does disrupt the melatonin production, and like I said, it makes a lot more cortisol, which is a stress hormone. You also want to get in the habit with your children to have a digital free zone or detox zone, and designate the bedroom as a detox free zone in the evening. You want to promote relaxing and sleep conducive environment. Encourage regular exercise earlier in the day because physical exercise helps promote certain hormones in the brain. It helps to regulate the sleep-wake cycles and really improve sleep qualities. And you want to avoid exercise close to bedtime because, as you can imagine, exercise is very activating and you don't want to be full of vitality and energy when you're trying to go to sleep. You want to be in a rest and digest mode. So that's the time to activate your vagus nerve, not your sympathetic system. And it's time to rest and not to be in high activity or excitement mode. Ensure adequate sunlight exposure during the day because we know that during the day, especially high noon or around the hours of 10 in the morning to 4 p.m., so before the sun sets, during that time, the way the angle of the sun hits our eyeballs and hits our pineal gland, it tells the body to make cortisol, it tells the body to be awake. And again, it's setting the pace for then switching to making melatonin when the sun goes down. So all these cues, if you will, that the body is receiving throughout the day, including your time of meals. Like if you wake up the same time, you eat your meals at the same time, you go to bed at the same time, your body is being cued by your mealtime as well into your microbiome. And as you know, you've got trillions of bacteria and other organisms living in your gut. They're part of your ecosystem and they control a lot of your hormonal signals as well. So when you're eating, that timing is also signaling the body through the bacteria in your gut what time of day it is, and your body can be in sync with this whole subconscious process that's going on, hopefully without you having to micromanage too much once you get in the habit of the routine. And another tip is maintain the same wake and sleep times, even on weekends, even on holidays, because again, that helps you maintain a nice healthy sleep rhythm. Optimize the sleep environment. You want your bedroom to be cool. You don't want it too hot where you're kicking off the blankets and tossing and turning all night. You want the child to be cool but comfortable under the blanket. So nice and cozy under the blanket, but the room temperature itself should be pretty cool. I would say between 68 and 72, definitely not higher than 72. You can have it cooler than 68, maybe 65. You just don't want it super chilly. You don't want to be, shivering or whatever under the blanket. You want to be comfortable. So think of a nice range that's comfortable for every member of the family. You want it dark in your room. Again, any light will wake up the brain. So we don't want any light influencing the brain. If you need to darken the room with black curtains or wear an eye mask or do whatever you need to do to have the room as dark as possible. If your child is afraid of the dark, what you can do is leave a tiny night light in the bathroom, but try not to have like glaring light coming through the bathroom door or anything like that, because any light will disrupt the sleep cycle. You also want it quiet. So many kids tell me they have their TV on when they go to sleep, or they listen to music on their phone while they go to sleep. So building on the tips I've already given, we want our bedroom to be a screen-free zone, right? A detox zone. And we also don't want any noise. If you need to fall asleep to a meditation app, Headspace or Calm, listening to music with the rainfall in the background or what have you, that's fine, but it needs to be turned off after 30 minutes and allow the child to continue going to sleep on his or her own without the aid of any mechanical devices. Now, during the day, incorporate calming, relaxing techniques that could be deep breathing exercises. We know that deep, slow breaths can promote relaxation, reduce stress and anxiety. We want to teach them mindfulness practices where they're kind of feeling each body part, maybe tensing the body part and then relaxing the body part. And you can do that gradually from the head down to the toes. So that might take 5-10 minutes to do if you walk them through that process. And then on their own, they can learn to do it on their own. Once they embody the process, they can do this relaxation. Another thing to do is gentle yoga or stretching. You can do that first thing in the morning, of course, but also before bed. It's helpful to release any tension. So something to consider. Also consider supplementation. A lot of children, I'm finding when I test them that they're very low on vitamin D. Now, I live in the state of Georgia. Some of you are listening to me from the state of Florida. And we think that our vitamin D level should be high enough because we're outside. The sun's shining most of the year, so we should be okay. But what I'm finding when I test is that's not true. So if you know that your child needs vitamin D, definitely supplement. The dose recommended for children is usually listed on the bottle of the vitamin, but if you need to consult a physician based on testing, we can then give you different doses based on testing. Magnesium is another good mineral to take. I like to encourage people to take magnesium Epsom salt baths because it's part of the bedtime routine to take the bath. You can even buy the Epsom salts that are flavored with lavender, and it makes for a nice relaxing bath. It could be bonding time with the parents and playing in the bathtub and all of that. So that's a nice routine to build in. If you prefer to do magnesium creams or magnesium powders that you mix and drink, that's an option as well. Now, melatonin is the hormone that controls our sleepiness, our drowsiness, and it is definitely something the body makes. Now, do we need to supplement for that? There's a debate out there whether it's safe to give to children or not. I feel like in very low doses, it's safe. So 0.5 to 1 milligram, at the most 3 milligrams, is definitely something I've used in my patients, and I haven't found any issues. However, if your child is sensitive to melatonin and gets nightmares, that's a cue for you not to give that supplement. Vitamin B6 is usually in a multivitamin. Rarely do I give B6 alone. However, it's one of the vitamins that we know helps to control melatonin production and helps with sleep. So if your B6 levels have been checked by a functional medicine doctor, because really there's not a simple blood test you can do for B6. You have to do the functional testing to see that. But if you know that based on your functional testing you have a low B6, then we can talk about supplementing with a unique combination product. But for most people, I like to just recommend a multivitamin. And we're coming almost to the end of our slideshow here. You want to identify and address any underlying conditions. So if the child has issues like sleep apnea, allergies, asthma, anxiety, ADHD, those medical illnesses or diagnoses can definitely contribute to the insomnia. And it's something that you and your doctor should discuss. How else can we help them besides setting up the routine and everything we've discussed so far in this talk? What else can you do to help alleviate the symptoms of insomnia in a child who has a lot of allergies? Let's make sure their allergies are being suppressed or treated. Let's make sure we're addressing the cause of the allergy. Can we remove the source of the allergen in the house? For example, if they have asthma, they need to have their asthma well controlled. If they're anxious or have ADHD, what other medications or supplements are they taking? And if they have sleep apnea, by all means, get a sleep study, because we really need to take care of that problem. It can only grow with the child and is putting them at risk of having other complications such as ADHD from the sleep apnea. So it's definitely important to look at, are there other causes that are obstructing the airway that are causing the child to be restless in their sleep? So we need to talk about all these details. And if you can't figure all the details on your own, that's when you go to the doctor. That's when you hire someone like me to help you figure things out. As doctors, we are detectives, and that's part of our job, is to figure out what is causing the ailment of our patients. We want to empower you as parents to improve the sleep quality of your family, because really, let's face it, if the child is not sleeping, you as a parent are not sleeping either, and that is going to take a toll on your health. It's going to take a toll on the siblings' health as well. I've seen it over and over in my 30 years of practice. If the baby is sick and crying, everybody's up with the baby, right? So imagine if you have a child who has autism or has ADHD and never sleeps, the whole family's up with that child and the whole family's suffering. So it's vital that we get everybody sleeping, and I want to empower you to start making some steps to implement the routine and really make it a priority that sleep is just as important as food. I would say, and water for our health, and oxygen, because without it, we will start getting sick very, very quickly. Studies have shown that people who don't sleep can become psychotic within 3 days. So do not take lack of sleep very lightly. It can affect your mental health significantly, and we definitely need to make sure our children are sleeping. Optimize the bedroom. You really want it nice, cool, and dark and quiet. Establish regular bedtimes with your child. Have a screen detox area in the bedroom, and exercise and do all the fun things during the day so that you're not impeding the rest and relaxation at night. And actually, this was the last slide. So if you enjoyed this talk, if you have questions about what I mentioned, if you feel like I missed something that I should have shared, please comment below. I really want to see your engagement. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to be able to answer your questions. You may have a supplement question, you may have other questions, but whatever it is, don't hesitate to let me know, okay? Because it's what I want to help you with. So with that, let me minimize my screen and we will stop the share. Have a good night, everyone.